Hi, welcome to Kente Code AI Academy. We are continuing our Python and SQL Foundation course. For our last lecture, we started installing our software. We were able to install Visual Studio Code, Python, Git, connect all that to GitHub, and be able to push code to GitHub, download things from GitHub to our desktop. So today we have some more items to finish. So I'm going to go through those that we need to finish installation for today on our list. So if you go to the course forum on Teams, we have our Excel sheet that have what is left to be installed. We have reached here. We have installed Git. We've installed Visual Studio, Python, Git for Windows. So today we will continue with Postgres installation. Okay, we will install Postgres and we will take a look at Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, how to install Jupyter Notebook in Visual Studio Code and how to see the same Jupyter Notebook is available on Colab, Google Colab. You can see those. So let's go and then start installation for Postgres. So to install Postgres, the link is here. So I have already installed it on downloaded it. So, but you can just go here. We are using 18.1, the latest one now here. Just click on this and it will be downloaded on your desktop. Okay, I already have it downloaded, so I don't need it anymore. So once that is downloaded, we will go ahead with the installation. So let's go and see. I'm using VM, my virtual machine, and my all my softwares are downloaded stored in this folder I have here in my software folder. So I have the Postgres over here, so that's what I'm going to install today. We have Postgres, which is a SQL database relationship. You can use it for storing data, just like you store data about stores or Facebook or LinkedIn. Everything has to have data at the back. So you have to use a database for storing that data. And then this Postgres is widely used by a lot of companies. It's an open source database. So let's install Postgres and then we'll see how it looks like. So double click on it and then it will start the installation for Postgres on our machine. Then we'll be able to use it. The software, so there's not, what's that? Okay, I'm having some issue there. Oh, I just downloaded it again here. Let me see. In my download folder, I just downloaded it here again. Let me see if it's here. Postgres. Yeah, Postgres. Oh, not this one. Okay, let me just download it again. I think I have some issue with my download. So let me just go to, well, I have a Teams folder. Let's go to Postgres SQL download. I'm having some issue with my download, so I'm just going to go and then the latest one. I'm using Windows, so I'm just going to download the Windows. Okay, and I'm going to use this one to install. So download the installer. Over here I can just go here too, and then I can see the Postgres here, 18.1 from here too. So it will start downloading in this for me. To start downloading here, let me just show my screen. Okay, it will, if you download it will just be showing over here, so you can see this download will happen here. And once it's finished downloading, so let's go into here. It's going to be downloaded. Okay, complete. So you go to this folder, which is your downloads folder. Then your Postgres is there. So in case it's not working from the one you downloaded earlier, then maybe you can download it again. Using this method is the same. We just need the software to run. So now Postgres is now installing. Let's go and see what happened. Okay, it needed a Visual Studio, a Visual C++ distributor for it to work. Since this is a virtual machine, everything is fresh, so it doesn't have a C++. So it says, hey, it's going to install Postgres for you. Then you say next, where it's going to install it, just leave it as it is. Then say, yeah, install Postgres SQL, pgadmin. Yeah, let's remove the start builder. We don't need to download the slide. So this 1, 2, 3, leave the command tools. Yeah, that is also fine. And then go ahead and then continue. Now you have to create a password for logging into your database. So I will use the password here. For here, I'll just say Academy. You can choose your own password. So I'll just say Academy here. Here is Academy. Then it's my password. Okay. You need a password. And the default port for Postgres is 5432. So leave it as it is. A port is what the database will communicate on to outside people. So before they make connection on port. So what is the language to be used by the database? So just leave this default. Yeah, whatever is default is there. So give some information on what will be installed and say setup is ready to install. So we will just let this complete the installation of our Postgres. So if that is running, let's go to Teams and see. So on our agenda, we have to install, it's already open. We have to install, only Postgres is left to be installed. The Postgres comes with the tool that is used to manage the database for Postgres, and that tool is called pgadmin. So the pgadmin will be installed as part of the download we have. We'll have that installed with it. So then after that, we have Postgres available. So we will directly go and then we install Jupyter Notebook extension and then the kernel for VS Code. So let's get so we don't want to be waiting on the installation for this. So let's see, this is running, Postgres is installing there. So we want to just keep this one here. Let it be running here. Now let's go and open our VS Code because I want us to be multitasking today. Let's go open our VS Code, and then this is Visual Studio Code. Okay, this is what we installed last time for Python, right? That is used for writing Python code. In the last lecture, we went through and then we talked about how to install this. Okay, so today what I want to do is I want to actually just go and install. Let's see, what we are saying here is we want to install what is in the list. The list is, it says here, this one, Jupyter Notebook. Because we did not install the Jupyter Notebook extension last time in Python, so I want to install the extension in Python. So that's what we are going to do. Let Postgres be running, but let's go and then install the Jupyter Notebook. So to install the Jupyter Notebook, so I want to talk about an approach that I like when I'm so let's say this one. Okay, you see this one, this last time I talked about these icons, the file icon, searching your repo, the resource control to see the repo, and then we talk about how to run. This is here, and then there is this is the extension. You see, extensions are here. Okay, if you want to install anything to make Visual Studio Code work with other things, the extensions are what you are going to use. Okay, so today we are going to install the Jupyter Notebook extension in Visual Studio Code. Remember, in last lecture we showed how to install Python extension. That's how the Visual Studio Code was able to work with with our Python. So sometimes the extensions will say, see, right now something asks me I need to restart it. They have some issue. You have to restart them for them to work. But the extension we need here is called Jupyter. Jupyter Notebook. Okay. So it's here. See, Jupyter. So this is what we need, and I will tell you what notebooks I will get. Once we have this, we'll be able to run. We need this extension, and then we need the kernel, which is something that is going to be behind to help the Jupyter Notebook work. Okay, so we are going to install this one. Okay, going to install this one and let it install. Okay, it is installing. Oh, it's already done. Oh, okay, it's done. Okay, so we have Jupyter Notebook. Okay, it's here. Okay, now before the notebook can work, we need something we call the Python kernel. Okay, so we have to install that. Okay, so that is done. So we have here, we have Jupyter Notebook now. All right, so in Visual Studio Code, okay, in Visual Studio Code, this code, Studio Code, Visual Studio Code. So I want to get this Visual Studio Code. Okay, this is Visual Studio Code. You see Visual Studio Code is here. If you click on View, okay, if you click on View, okay, or if some people already is at the top over here, you can see View, Terminal, okay, View, Terminal, okay. You see, you go to View, or if the view is already, yeah, the view, or if the terminal is already here, or sometimes, yeah, the terminal is already here, you can just click on New Terminal, okay. That gives you a terminal is like a command prompt. It gives you access to the command prompt. Okay. All right. There are other terminals here. I want to clean that and I want to show you again. You view or you just click here. If it's here for you, say terminal. Okay. New terminal. Okay. All right. So if you click on this terminal, automatically by default, it opens PowerShell terminal. Okay. That's PowerShell terminal. But in Visual, this is in Visual Studio Code, right? You are in Visual Studio Code, and it's pointing to you that you are in this folder because we were using this last time we were here. So let me close this. Let me just close that so not to confuse anybody. Let's close this folder. Okay, so let's say this is a new Visual Studio Code, nothing is happening, and we just come here and we wanted to create a new program. We want to install Jupyter. That's what it is. So let's say in this particular lecture, we just want to do a project. Last time I taught how to create a project. So let's go over that process. If you want to create a project, okay, we went to Postgres is still installing. We went through the process. So I said, you create a folder. Okay, you want to create a project, you create a folder for your project. So let me go here, and this project, I'm just going to call this project Jupyter. Okay, let me call this project Jupyter. Okay, yeah, just this is the name of the project I'm working on. Okay, now I'm in Visual Studio and I need to open the Jupyter project. So I will go here. If you go to File, okay, then you go to Open Folder, okay, Open Folder. Then you can find, if it's not showing there, you see your PC, my PC, whatever it is, you see where it is. And I want to open the Jupyter project so that I can do something in there. So now I am in my Jupyter. You can close this. Yeah. So I'm in my Jupyter project. Okay. Now I want to see the terminal, because the terminal is where you can install things. So we use as the extension to install extensions, but Python has libraries, okay? Libraries that you install at the terminal. You use the terminal to install it. Okay, so I am now at the Visual Studio terminal, which is PS means PowerShell. It's just calling PowerShell, and it calls the folder I am in, because I am currently in the Jupyter folder. It calls that like, okay. So there are different terminals. So this is PowerShell. So if you see this arrow over here, okay, you see there will be different terminals. There's PowerShell, there is Git Bash. Git Bash is from the Git that we installed for GitHub. And then there is command prompt, which is the regular command prompt we have here. You see, it's also available from Visual Studio Code. So whatever you can do in the command here in this particular terminal, you can do the same by just opening this command prompt directly from Windows, or you can directly also open PowerShell on Windows and do the same thing. Okay, PowerShell is available even in Windows. You can just call it, but I want you to just get used to calling it directly from Visual Studio Code by just go terminal, new terminal, then it will show up. Okay, then it will show up here. Now, if you are using PowerShell, then this is fine. If you don't, if you want to use command prompt, which is the regular one, you go to this, you select command prompt. Okay, so you see command prompt, you see Microsoft Windows, it has whatever written over there. Now you see now there are two terminals. There's PowerShell and there's CMD, the command prompt. You can delete the PowerShell so that you don't have the PowerShell terminal. Okay, now I am now in the command prompt. Okay, now in command prompt, what I want to do now, what I want to show you is something that is very special, because anytime you are installing Python libraries, okay, let's see is the vision. Oh, okay, let's stop here. Let's go and see. Okay, let's continue with this. We go back to Postgres and check on Postgres later. Let's continue on this. Okay, so we want to install the Python kernel, but for example, if you are working on your own machine, now I'm working in VM, so I can just install everything there and it will all be there. But if you are working on your machine and you are installing things like libraries, over time, there are going to be so much things on your computer, right? So the one best practice we do when we are doing Python is we create what is called a virtual environment. So we create a virtual environment and then we install the libraries inside the virtual environment, so that in case we don't need all those libraries, we just delete that folder and everything is gone. And you can have different versions in different virtual environment, so that your application will not break. Your application will not break because you have installed a new library and that doesn't work with your new application. So it makes it easy to maintain your code and have a version for it that you keep. So I want to just quickly go and show you how you can create a virtual environment, and then in that virtual environment we will install the Jupyter library that is needed for us to use the Jupyter. Okay, so I'm going to install the virtual environment. So I want to install the virtual environment in this my application folder. So I will go into here and add a new folder. And I'm going to call my virtual environment. This is the way I always call it. It's just a folder name, okay? .venv, okay? So I'm calling the folder name as .venv, as the virtual environment folder. So in this virtual environment, I haven't created it, I just created a folder. I'm now going to create the virtual environment. It's a Python to use that folder as the virtual environment. Okay, now another thing is this. If you want to create the virtual environment, you have to use the right version of Python for your virtual environment, because everything is then going to use only that virtual environment, right? So you have to make sure that when you create your virtual environment, it's actually using the right Python that you meant to use for that virtual environment. So in case you have multiple virtual environment, multiple Python installed on your code. So let's go to our folder. You see, when we install Python in here, we install the Python here, right? In case you have another Python, it will be maybe Python 12, Python 10, and stuff like that. There'll be many Pythons, but you have to choose the right Python. So I will say, hey, I want to use this Python for the installation. So I will copy this Python, if Python 1.3, I copy that. Okay, I'll come and put it here, but now I need to call the Python. So that's just the folder. So it has the Python in there. Okay, so at this time I have, that's the Python. Now The virtual environment is a module in Python. So we say dash M. It's a module. And the command that you use to create the virtual environment is called VENV. That's the command. And then you give the folder where you want to create the virtual environment. Now I have named the folder .venv. Okay? So I am calling Python from the location I want it, the location of the Python I want, and I specify that I'm calling a module in Python with the command -m means it's a module. Then the module I'm calling is called VENV. That's the name of the module in Python for this. And then I'm saying I'm going to create the virtual environment in a directory here that is right there in call.venv. So after that, say enter. Okay. Okay. So what is happening now? It says actual environment location may have moved it to redirect links or junctions. Requested location this. Actual location this. Okay. Yeah. Jupyter. Okay. All right. Is it done? Okay. So if it's installed. Okay, if it's installed, okay, requested location Z, then actual location. Oh, okay, because this is actually this might be a problem in the virtual environment. You see, this is confusing this one. Okay, if it's not installing there, then we can actually let's put our Jupyter Notebook. Oh, yeah. This could be a problem. Let's put our Jupyter Notebook project somewhere on the virtual machine directly. Okay. Oh, no, cancel. Let's put it somewhere directly on the virtual machine so it doesn't have any. So let's say in my machine here, let me go to documents. Okay. Then I'm going to create my Jupyter project here. So let me create Jupyter. Okay. I create Jupyter over here. Okay, so I want to work in this directory, which is directly on the virtual machine C drive. So I'll go back to Visual Studio Code, and then what I'll do is, because I don't want this to block us and have issue, so I'll go back and open the new. We'll go down, and then open folder. Now I'm opening the one in documents. Okay, I'm going to documents, this Jupyter folder. Okay, I'm going to select this Jupyter folder. So I have Jupyter. Okay, now yes, I want to trust this location. Yes, trust. Okay, I want to use that one rather. I don't want to have issue with the virtual machine issue. So this is Jupyter, and I will now create .venv, which is basically the folder that will be holding my virtual environment. Then I'll go here to terminal, and I'll create a new terminal. And I said I want to use command prompt, not PowerShell. So I'll go to command prompt here, and I'll take out PowerShell over here. So I'm in command prompt. Okay. So it's saying I'm in users academy document Jupyter. Okay, that's where it is. Now I want to take the Python that I have in my C drive, the location of the Python, which is in C drive, Python here. I want to take this one, okay, and I'll put it in here, and then slash Python, okay. Then I'll use -m for the model VENV for the model for installing, for setting up virtual environment, and the folder name .venv. So I say enter. Okay. Now, if this work well, then we now have our virtual environment created. Okay. Okay. So when it's created, you will see files for the virtual environment here. So if you go now, you see now we have files for this is Python files that the virtual environment set up so that they can use it. Okay. Okay. Now we have created virtual environment. Okay. Now, before we can install things into this virtual environment, we have to activate the virtual environment. Okay, and the command for that is we have to go to the .venv folder /scripts, okay, /scripts /activate, okay, activate. Basically, we are in the .venv. We went to script and we are going to run the activate. Okay, so we say .venv, go to the script and activate. In on the Mac machines, this will be source, source. So you have to look for that command for Mac. So this is how we now activate. So if we activate the environment, now you see we have the .venv. When it shows this, it means that now we are in the virtual machine. Okay, now we are in the virtual environment. So anything we install now will go directly into that virtual environment. Okay, or in this folder. It's basically everything we install now will be installed in this folder. Okay, so I said to use Jupyter, you need the Python library that supports Jupyter, and that library is called IPython. Okay, IPython is called IPython. Okay, IPython. Okay, but the command you use to install in Python, one of the package managers that you can use for installing things in Python is called pip. There are other ones like UVS and David Conda, but let's focus on just pip. P-I-P. Pip. Okay? P-I-P. That's the command to use if you want to install. So it's a pip install, then you give the name of the library or the package that you want to install. So I want to install the library that is used for Jupyter Notebook. That's the library IPython. So I say pip, which is Python something index package. Okay, let's not whatever. So we say the pip, then we say install, and then we give the package we are going to install. So once we install this package, it's going to go into this virtual environment. Okay, now it will go there. So let's go. Okay. So now this package is installing other dependencies that will help it to run. So anytime the packages also depend on other packages. So if you try to install a package, it can install other packages that will help it to work. There is no way you can go around it. So once you specify the package, its own name, it will go and then find other packages that it needs for it to work. So that is what is happening now. It's installing all those packages that are needed to complete so that it will be able to work. Okay. So what happened now is the package has downloaded so many packages. So if you go to this, you go to library. You see all the packages just got downloaded when we just install this. All these things got downloaded. You see, so but you don't have no control. That's why it's good to have a virtual environment where you install everything, and after that, if you don't want, you just delete this virtual directory, and then everything is gone. Okay, so for this virtual environment, it's only here, everything is here. It's not your global or your entire computer, it's just in this folder. So if you delete it, everything is gone. Okay, normally when you install this pip, anything fresh, maybe your pip that comes with your Python is outdated. Okay, so it's telling us that there is a new pip available. So we have 25 point this, and it says 26.01 is available. So you can just copy this command. Okay, just copy this, copy it, and then to upgrade your pip, and then right click, then it will be there, and then enter. Then it will upgrade your pip so that you have the latest pip. Okay, that's all it is. This one you just have to upgrade it, and it will have the latest pip. So now we have pip 26.0. Okay, now we now have what? We now have the Python the Jupyter kernel installed, and we already have the extension that we can use to run Jupyter Notebook. So those two things needs to be done first. Okay, now after we have all these things, now we need to create a notebook. Okay, that's what Jupyter Notebook is about. So to create a notebook is just a file. If you are here, you want to create something, click You see, if you click on this, you create something is going to go in this folder. So click on this one, okay, then go and click outside. That will make the folder, anything you create will go under this. So here, I want to create a file, and the file is called hello. But last time I said Python, the Python file ends with .py, okay? But notebooks ends with IPYNB, okay? IPYNB, IPYNB, yes, yes, yes. Let's see quickly before I mess it up. I have one here which will help me. IPYNB, yes, yes, IPYNB, yes, IPYNB, yes. Okay, good. So now we have a notebook. Okay, this is a notebook. So a notebook has visuals that if you are writing your code, you can see it visually. Instead of the Python code that you can see things directly, notebooks helps you write code and see it run cells by cells individually. So this is your notebook. Ignore this. This is now AI stuff. So ignore this. But to use, remember we have we have created a virtual environment here, right? Before we can use it, we have to select that here. It has to use our kernel. The kernel is what is going to run the notebook, is the engine behind the notebook. So this, you have to select, it's a Python environment. You see Python environment, this is an environment. Okay, Python environment, and then you select this Python environment, okay? You see when we go over there, when we go over here, you see Python environment is pointing, you see is pointing directly to the one you have. If you don't choose the one here .vmv the Python, you are going to be using a separate one, something like what is just generally on your machine. So you have to choose the right one, because we installed the Py kernel, the kernel that is used for Jupyter Notebook inside this environment. So you have to put it into this particular you have to select this as the kernel you are going to use. So now, how do we use the notebook? This is the notebook we have here. If you want to write code, you click on code. Okay, you click code, then it adds a cell for you to write code in. So our favorite print hello world, yeah, print hello world, yeah, it's our favorite print hello world. So we write the code, and there is this play button. When you click on it, it will run the code and give you the answer, give you what it's supposed to be. So you see, this is why the notebook is very convenient, because you can quickly do things, run it, and see the result. So if I want to create another cell after this, I can just go to the bottom here and I add another code and say, hey, print I love Python. Okay, print I love Python. Then I'll go to this here and it says over there. Now you can also write text. This notebook, you can write text called markdown. Markdown. So if I want to do a markdown, if I'm at the bottom, you see I bring my cursor at the bottom, then it will show I want to write a markdown. I say, hey, markdown will not go into it. This is the beginning of a great course. Okay, markdowns have their own languages and things that we can use for it. Okay, but we are not going to go into those right now. But I just want you to know that. So if you have a markdown, you have it, and then you see this one, you see this, you mark it, and it's done. See, look at the Python programming. This is the beginning of a great course. So it's a test. You write the test. There are things that you can do to have very nice things you write up, but markdowns, we have to learn that separately, how to do markdown. Here we are just doing programming. So you see this. Okay, now I have written this cell, this cell, this. If I want to clear everything for, you see, I execute this show, I executed this show. If I want to just clear everything, I just go here and say clear all outputs. You see now, everything is gone. But now if I want to run everything to show all the things to print, I just say run all. Then you see everything will come up. So that is a quick introduction to Jupyter Notebook. We have installed it, the library, and then we are able to see how it works. So we will use Jupyter Notebooks in the beginning for all our, so it's easy to see things directly and see what we are doing. So let's go and quickly check on our Postgres installation and make sure it's complete. And then we'll come back and then we start the lesson on introduction to Python. So let's go here. So that is it over here. Okay, this is our Postgres was installing. So it has completed installing the Postgres. So we will say finish. Okay. So now we have finished the Postgres. How to access the database? The tool that you use is called pgadmin. Okay, when we install that package, it comes with this tool called pgadmin. So I will just right click and pin it to my taskbar so that I'll have it here. Okay, so I'll just click this to open the pgadmin, which will give me access to the Postgres database. Okay, so let's see, it's coming. So yeah, so you see this coming. So the pgadmin is coming over here. Let's see how that works. Pgadmin. Okay. Okay. So once we get used to the pgadmin, this is going to be a quick one because we are just going to set up our database, and then we will work on the pgadmin and Postgres in the other half of the class later on. So today we just want to make sure everybody have their setup. Then we know that you have it. So this is the pgadmin. Okay, this is the interface. It's a management tool for PostgreSQL. We will not go trying to learn everything about pgadmin today, but I just want you to install it. Once you have it installed and you can see this, you are ready to go. Okay, so now you see when I click on it, let me show that again. I go to servers. There is a local server already, it's Postgres 18. Okay, refresh. Okay, connect to it, connect to this one. Okay, Postgres 18. Remember when I was installing the Postgres, I use a password academy. So I need to use that Postgres, password to log into the database. Okay, so I will say academy. Okay, you can say safe password, it doesn't matter. So okay, this is the academy. Okay, now I am logged into the default database called Postgres. Okay, if you look at the properties for this database, it will say this is the server. You see the name of the database. Server is here, and then connection localhost. The localhost is called localhost. It's on a port called localhost port 127.0. Yeah, don't worry about that. But it's localhost. Just remember that. And this is the port that the server is, the database server is listing on. And this is your username for the database. This is the default username for the database. Okay. For the server. This is the default for the server. Okay. So this is the server. So we have a server. This is a server running. Yeah, you can go and see. No need to worry about any of these things. The server is running. Okay, now what we need to do is this is the default maintenance database for Postgres. So we don't do anything to this database. In order to use it, we have to create our own database that we are going to use. So we are going to create a database called Academy. So that's where we are going to create all our tables and do everything. So if you right click on databases at the top, then you go to create, it's a database, give it a name Academy. Okay, Academy. Okay, Academy, like this. Okay, leave these things, just let all these things be the same so that everything will be the same for everybody. Okay, so Academy. Okay, That's creating the database. If you go to the SQL, this is the SQL that is this interface is going to use this SQL to create a database. You also know how to create those later on, but just this is all you need. The database academy, leave this as the Postgres, the default username as it is, and then say save. Okay, so now you have a database. Okay, let's close all this stuff. Okay, so now you have a database called Academy. This is where now you store all your stuff. To go to the tables in the database, you come down to schemas. Okay, you go to schemas. Now we don't have any table, so we have nothing here. Okay, then we have the public schema. Okay, and we will learn about all this stuff, but we have the public schema, and that schema we have different objects that are in the database, but the most common is a table. We don't have any table now, so we need to create a table. Let's try and just create one table today. You see, tables is an object. That's where everybody will be working with, creating tables, adding data into the table. So let's right click and say create table. Okay, create table. And let's say we call this table. I don't want to, let's create it with the UI. You can create it with SQL, and then you can also create it with the UI, but let's start with the UI. So let's say I'm calling this table student. Okay, I'm calling this table as student. The owner, everything is the same. Now I need to go to the column that I need to define for the student table. All right, so I need to add the table, the column. So I'll click on the plus. Okay, what is the name of the column? So let's say name like the student first name. So first name, let's say I want to have first name, the student first name. The type of data it is, I will say don't worry about this now, but just leave it as it is. Just choose what I'm going to choose. We will explain what this means when we go into detail into what this means. We will explain that. So that is one column, and then let me add another column, last name. Okay, last name. Okay, just leave these ones and just choose what I choose here, and then let's leave it like this. So we create it. Okay, so now I have a table. So now you see that I have a table student. When I right click and I say query to, or I say view or edit data, you see there's no data in the table here. Say all rows, there's no data in here. It's zero. There's nothing in here. Okay, there's nothing in here. You see student table is here. You say select star from public.student. Public is the schema name, and then the table is student. There's no data there. So you can put data into it. You see the columns are here. You see column, first name, last name. So if I want to put some data in it, I'll just say, hey, insert into public.student. You can just say student also. And the first column is first name, right? First name. And the last column is last name. That's all we have in this, right? Then the next thing you put command is you say values. You say value. The values are the things you are going to put inside. So you say what is the first name? So I'll say you put it into quotes, Vincent. Okay, and then the second one is America, something like this. Okay, then you run. Okay. Oh. For Postgres, you have to put, if you have multiple statements, you have to put the colon after the semicolon into it. Okay. Last name. Yeah. As a column is last name. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, this too. This is not double quote. This is SQL is single quotes. Okay. I hope that is correct. SQL. Okay, so now if I want to run only this one to see the data in the table, if I run it, so now you see first name Vincent, last name America. So that is short intro to Postgres. We will handle this in the second part of the class, halfway of this Python and SQL. We will come and learn more about the Postgres. I just want you to have it set up and ready, and then we know that we have all our software available for us to use for the course. So we will close this today here and say, okay, Postgres is done. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes, Postgres is done. So we are going to use the rest of the hour to get introduction into Python. So this is where we are, okay? We want to understand what is this we are trying to do. We want to know what is Python. So Python is one of the best languages, okay? One of the best. It's actually one of the best, I think, languages that is used in most of data analytics, machine learning, data science. It's a very popular language. It has a big community. So anytime you are doing anything with machine learning, AI, most of the time the people will be using Python for this process. Okay. And it's used also, for websites. You can use Python to do websites too, for automation, for anything. So the goal for this first lecture is to just get introduction into the Python. We have already done how to run the Python code in Jupyter, so we are done with that. We know how to do the Python code in Jupyter, but we want to just get it. And so the Python is a high-level interpreted programming language used for web data analysis, artificial automation. So the one who invented Python is Guido van Rossum, and it was released in 1991. And the interpreted means that it runs the code one line by line. Some languages like C++ or Java, all those languages, they don't run the code line by line. They compile the whole file into a bytecode and then run it at once. And that approach actually made codes run faster. But it is hard for people to actually run everything and then compile it and then run it and then find issues. And so, but Python is easier to learn because everything you're doing line by line, you can write each line and see how it works, and it helps you actually, be able to write. So it's one of the languages that used for beginners who want to learn programming. So what we are studying here, Python can be used almost in a lot of industries. There's big following for it. So what are the features? That's the features I was talking. It's easy to read and write, okay? It's an interpreted language, so you do not need to compile it. And it can be used, it's versatile. It can be used in a lot of applications. You can use Python to do. And it has a large community and libraries that you don't have to write everything yourself. The libraries are there, you just call them and then you use them. It works on different machines, Windows, Linux, and everything. Okay, we're using Python because it's beginner friendly. It's easy for us to learn Python than starting with Java or C++. That is, it's simple, and Python is in high demand. So it's in high demand. A lot of places need Python developers because it's used in a lot of areas. You can, you can write code in procedure object oriented. Let's not worry about that. But Python is a really good. So I have showed you already a lot of things before even starting the class, like the hello world. You see how easy it is in Python to write hello world and just say print hello world. In other languages, that will take you writing like 3-4 lines or something before you'll be able to get the text hello world. So that is why Python is one of the languages easy for us to learn. We can use Python, as I say, for web development, data science, machine learning, automation, and game, Python can be used in all that. So now I introduce the Jupyter Notebook that we have studied in when we installed the Jupyter Notebook. If you have it, these are the commands for Python. Like Python, we installed the Python kernel in there, and this command is used to just checking what version of Python we have. Now, the big thing for today's lecture is the introduction of Python is variables. Okay, the term variables, so, and data type in Python. So what is a variable? So if, for example, my name, a product name, locations, things, you naming them, you need to put them in a box somewhere to remember. And if you open that box, you find the information. So variables are used to store information that you can reference anytime and manipulate it in your in the program. So you don't, in Python, you simply say, hey, like name equals Vincent, like location or city equals Houston. That's it, you declare a variable. In Python, the good thing is, there is something also called data type, the type of data you are storing into the variable. You can explicitly say, hey, I'm storing this data and it's integer in other languages, but Python allow you to just store the information directly into the variable, and Python will infer what type of data type it is. Okay, so the variable doesn't have to have only, you can say name equals Vincent, and the same name you say name equals 5. Python will not complain. It's whatever you put into it, that's what it's going to be in there. But some other programming language, you have to they are strictly, you have to define the type of data you are going to store in that variable in order to use to put that variable in there. So, for example, so I can create a variable. So look at this. I say age equals 5. Yeah, you just use the equal to sign, put it into the age is the variable, and then the 5 is the value you are putting in there. And Python will know that, okay, this variable age is keeping a data type integer because what you put in there is 5. So it knows by itself. Okay. Now the variables have a naming convention you have to follow when you are naming your variable. Okay. Okay. It can contain letters and numbers and underscore. Yeah, that is it, but it cannot start with a number. Your variable can contain a letter, a number, and underscore, but it cannot start with a number. Okay. The variable names are also case sensitive. It means that age with a, capital A, G, E is different from small a, G, E. So they are different. You have to understand that. They are case sensitive in Python. Okay. And there are some words that are reserved in Python that you should not use it for your variable name. Like if, for, plus, all those things are reserved words in Python. So don't use them for your variable names. Okay. Now I talked about the data type. Okay. I talked about the data type. Okay. Data type. So data type is the type of data you are going to put into a variable. Or, for example, one integer. Integers are numbers. -1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100. Those are integers. Okay, those are integers. Then we have floats, and they are int. Okay, in Python, they are the word to use for integer is int, int. Okay, as I'm showing here, is int. Decimals are numbers that have the dot, something comes after the number, tells you how many precisions are after the number. So 3.14 is a pi, 3.4. So that's a decimal number, 3.14, right? 3.14, that's a decimal because it has the number 3 and then it has the decimal 214 as the decimal. So that's in decimal numbers in Python is called float. That's why you're going to name it float. Okay, then we have strings. Strings are basically any sentence that you put is called a string, and they are referred in Python str. Okay, for strings. There. So like hello, you use double quotes for string to identify them, or one quote. You can use both to identify them. Okay. Then the last one is bool. Bool is like true or false. Boolean numbers. You say bool, but they only have two values, true or false. Those are Boolean values. Okay. So that is the main thing we are starting with today, understanding the variables and the data type. So let's look at integer definition, for example. Let's say count equals 10. automatically Python will know that this variable is an integer type. Now, if you want to find what is the type of a variable, you use the command type. Okay, type, and then you put the variable name inside. So let's go here quickly. So if I just go here, and this is a Jupyter Notebook I'm using here, and I say age equals 30, okay? And I say print age. I want to print what is the age, yeah? And then I want to print what is the type of age, okay? What type of integer it is. So I say print type age, okay? So if I run this code now, okay, look at this. You see, it prints the age, which is 30, and the type of integer it is called class int. Well, the type of data type it is class is int. So in this are called classes in Python. So it's int. Okay. So if you want to know what type of data is stored in a variable, you say type of variable. You say type into bracket variable. Then I'm using the print to print it out. Okay. Okay, so we will see the same thing if you say price equals 19.99. That is a decimal or float, right? So if I go there and I say, hey, I want to see, if I say, let's create one more here, code. The price of the goods equals 19.99. Okay, I want to print the price again. I want to print it. And I want to print the type of it's going to say float, class float, you see? So it's a class float. That's how, because that's the type of data that is stored in there. A string, like a city equals London, yeah, like we say city equals London, city, let's say Houston, because Houston is representing, is Houston. Then you say print the city, and then what is print the type of the city, and then you can see that it will say, it's a string, str, okay? All right, Boolean, yes. So let's say, is this class started? Let's say, is class started? Let's say, is class fun? Yeah. Then we say it's true, right? Yeah, this class is really fun. And then we say, we want to print what is that type. It will say, it's a bool, right? Class bool. Is class fun? Say true. You print it and then print the type of class. You say class is bool, so Boolean. So that is the data types that we have in Python. Okay, now you can change the type of variable by just assigning a new value. Because if we say age equals 30, okay. Okay, now age is 30. Then later we say age equals hello. I just say that, right? And I say print age, print the type of data, ages. You will see to print different things. Okay, that's the first part. 30, the type is 30. And now I assign a new value, which is hello, which is a string. Yeah, so you print this, and then the class is string. So that is what dynamic typing is. The type changes based on the value that you put into the variable. Okay, so it's very easy to mess it up like this because it's not static. You did not define the type of the variable. You might put something wrong inside that variable. That happened to. That is one of the disadvantages. Okay, now. So the data types we have string, we have ints. Okay, what happened is you get some data and you can convert it into a different type. For example, right? Let me put one here. I say age equals 30. Okay, if I say age equals 30, when I print age, and I say print here, this is going to give me a string, right? It's going to give me a string. But I can convert this into an integer and say age equals int age. This is a type convention. I'm converting the age into an integer. So when I print the type now, the type will be integer. You see? So you see? So I take it as a string and I converted it with int to become an integer. Now the type has changed. That is what we call type conversion. Okay, type conversion. You convert between two types using functions like, for integer, if you want to convert it to integer, you put int and the two brackets and put the value in there. Float is the same for string, you bool, everything. They all follow the same conversion. You just put the name of the data type, put the bracket and put the thing inside. So a number like a string 1, 2, 3, you want to convert it to integer, just say int the number string. Okay, and then that will work. Okay. And the function that is used for checking the type of variable, the data type is type. That's what we are talking about. So in summary, we say variable store data in Python. That's the summary. They store data in Python. The Python infers the type automatically. Python is able to infer the type automatically. So the common types int, float, string, and bool, right? Then we will use the type to check the variable types. Okay, and then we can use these functions int with the brackets, open and close bracket, float, string, to convert between the types. So that is the lesson for today about that. So let's go to see some more. Is I'm creating variables. Age equals 25, name equals Alice, x equals 10. So you want to check all those values, you print the variables and you see their data. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, yeah, as I said, the variable naming rules. Okay, amount equals 100, vehicle license number equals this, first name John, last name Doe. Okay, now I said that we cannot put a number before the variable name. You can put it inside something in the variable, but you cannot put the number before the variable name. So this will cause an error. Okay, you cannot just put a number before the variable name, so it will cause an error. And also, I say you cannot use some reserved words for your. You should avoid using them. You know. This one will not do anything, but you should avoid using the reserved words that are in Python for your variable. Okay, that is what I'm trying to see over here. So all this one, if I print it, you see, it will just then create all my variables for me. You see, I mean to create the information that are stored in all the variable. Okay, now you're working with numbers. Yeah, a equals 5. Okay. B equals 3.2, the result equals A plus B. That is a small mass. A equals 5, B equals 3.2, result equals A plus B, and now I want to print what is the sum as the result. Okay, so this is a small Python code. It takes two numbers, A, B, add them together in this variable, and then print the sum. Okay, so it variables, you can add them together because you use the plus to add things in Python. We have plus, divide, and whatever you have in mathematics, add, addition, you get there. You can add things in Python like that. Okay. Now you can also add strings together. Okay. Let's say first string is hello, and the second string is world. Yeah. Now say greeting is the first. Then I put comma, okay, this is comma here, and I put it into double quote, plus the second, there's the second variable, plus the, how is this thing called? Yeah, whatever that thing is called, like that, right? So when I print the hit, this, it will print the hello world, see? This is using variables and string concatenation, just using the plus to add the strings together, okay? So that is all we said. This is a type, checking the type of the variables is also there. Okay. Now for this lecture, we have come to the end of the lecture, and the quiz in this is once you go through this lecture, try to solve this simple question of create two variables, okay, variable A and B, do their sum, division, and multiplication, okay, multiplication. So you have two variables, variable A and then variable B, okay, variable A and variable B. So I want you to create result for, so create results for their addition, the sum, their division. The first one variable is A, second one is B. So their sum, you create a result, you create a program that say A is this, B is this, and then you have a variable that will store the sum. And then do the division, the A and divided by B, and then you get the division variable and do the multiplication. Then I want you to print, okay, the sum is this, the division is this, and then the multiplication is this as your first assignment to see how that works and show that to me. Okay, so we have come to the end of the introduction to the class. This is your quiz for the week. This is just the quiz. So try to do this one and then show it to me how you did it. Okay? Okay, thank you for watching.